as well, and I'll edit it later on.
Got it.
Okay, Mr. Cataphorus, you can get the show on the road.
Okie dokie. Good evening, current Kilodance Soccer School students and future soccer school students, because we know we've got a couple of them coming on tonight. Welcome to this webinar that we have a very, very special guest tonight, a good friend of myself and Mr. Wankarich. His name is Mustafa. Mustafa. Just a little bit of background with Mustafa. Mustafa is a friend of mine that's been around the soccer fraternity for a long time. He's not embarrassed for me to say that he's currently 42 years old and is continuing playing football at a very, very good level, State 2 level. In the past, he made it all the way to the old NSL, playing with South Melbourne, which is equivalent to the current A-League that we have now.
Right.
So tonight, we were fortunate enough to have Mustafa on board. He's going to basically give us a talk on healthier life choices and looking at a holistic approach in terms of making better choices in terms of your nutritional and lifestyle choices. So, Mustafa, welcome. Thank you for giving up your time tonight, and I'm sure that we're going to get a lot out of your presentation. So, I'll hand it over to you now.
Yeah, thanks, George. Thanks for that nice introduction. Yeah, so my intention today is really, we're going to be skimming the surface of some of the things that I've been focusing on, particularly in this last year. So I will just change the screen. Yeah, cool. So just to give you a bit of a heads up, so brief description on my own journey. I'll touch on some of the things that George just talked about. Really want to focus in on, like, what is health? What does it mean? It means something different to everybody, but you know, at a high level, what does it really mean? I want to give everyone here a bit of a snapshot into a little bit of a state of the nation of what the current status of health is in the world, particularly around chronic disease. Then I'll touch on what things make us unhealthy today, and obviously, you know, the importance of nutrition and food, and you know, how it affects the way we think, the way we perform, the way we go about life, really. And then towards the end, I want to give some tips, I guess, on getting people to kickstart their journey. I call it a kickstart because what my intention is really is to get people thinking more proactively about health. And I want to finish off with, you know, just maybe giving everyone here, doesn't matter who's online, a challenge to do for the next 7 days. And hopefully there'll be a bit of time for Q&A at the end. How does that all sound? Good. Okay, let's get on with it. All right, so how about we relax first before we get into the presentation. So what I'd like to do with everyone is, this is called the 4-7-8 breathing technique. It was developed by Dr. Andrew Weil, one of my favorite doctors. He's a world-renowned pioneer in the field of integrative medicine. So he takes a healing approach by looking at, you know, the body, mind, and spirit. And this is one of the exercises that he's come up with. So we're going to do 3 rounds of this. And basically what we're going to do is we're going to be breathing in through our nose, holding our breath, and then breathing out through our mouth. And we'll do that 3 times. But when we do this, hold your tongue at just above your teeth, so on the roof of your mouth. So I'll just give you a quick demo. So what we're going to do is breathe out fully first, get all the air out, then close your mouth and breathe in. That's for 4 seconds. We're going to hold our breath for 7 seconds. And then while our tongue's at the roof of our mouth, we're going to breathe out for 8 seconds. Okay, and we'll just repeat that 3 times. So if you're sitting in a chair, just relax, or lying down, just relaxed. I like doing this with closing my eyes. I will try not to talk throughout it, but I'll give a bit of guidance as we do it. Okay, so tongue on the roof of your mouth, and then breathe out fully, and then we'll start. So breathe in, hold your breath, breathe out, Breathe in. Breathe out. In. And out. And just sit there for 10 seconds. Just return your breathing to normal. Okay. If you're closing your eyes, open your eyes. So that is a really simple breathing exercise. So what's happening during exercise is you're really focusing on your breathing. When you do it in a quiet space, you can do that repetitively. You're focusing on your breathing. What it does, it just helps you to manage, if you've got anxiety or stress, you've got any anger issues or sleep issues. This is a really simple exercise that you can do just to get away from everything. I don't know how that felt for you guys doing it then, but for me, I can immediately relax. I do it quite a bit, so I can feel immediately relaxed. I can get tuned in. But what happens to our bodies is if we're in a constant state of, stress or anxiety or fear, our body's in a state called a fight or flight response. So what it means is our bodies thinks we're under threat or in danger, a bit like being chased by a dog or nervous for an exam or something like that. And it shuts critical parts of your body down and sends energy to your muscles and, to get you ready to fight, basically. So when you're in that sort of state, it's obviously, not good to be chronically in that state. So it's important to tap into your rest and digest system, which I'll touch on a little bit later. So that's one thing you can try going forward. There's heaps of these. Just jump on YouTube. I do one called Wim Hof breathing method. Slightly different. Mine goes for about 10 to 12 minutes, and I just get into a state of trance and relaxation, and I love it. So just to introduce myself, so I'm recently became a certified integrative nutrition health coach. So what that is, it's really just like any other coach, a football coach, a life coach, a business coach, but we obviously focus on holistic health. As George mentioned at the start, we look at not just nutrition, but what's happening in your life, your schooling, your relationships, your social life, your joy, your spirituality, all that sort of thing, encompassing the whole human. And that's what we really focus on. I've also got a bachelor's degree in electrical and electronic engineering. So today I'm a project manager, really. And I've got 20 plus years experience leading successful project teams. I've got like leadership skills, planning, goal setting, organizational skills, things that I use today in my private life as well. Again, as George mentioned, I've played at the highest level in Australia, played football. I was fortunate to have played for 33 consecutive years, injury free. I never took holidays or did things during the season. I was pretty serious and took it seriously. And I still play at the age of 42. Just to give you a glimpse, my first taste of kind of holistic health was, I was a scholarship holder at the Victorian Institute of Sport many moons ago. And we looked at, the sports, not just football on the pitch, but the sports science, the nutrition, strength and conditioning, food, psychology, that sort of stuff. So I think that was really my first catalyst into this space. And from there, I just kind of learned as I went and grew as I went. And I think that investment in that sort of approach, I think, is why I've been lucky to play for so long. And my wife, she's Alicia. She's a certified group fitness instructor with 10 plus years experience. She does Zumba. She's a aromatherapist. She's recently done a kids yoga instructor course. She runs a low tox living for families group on Facebook, which is about helping families kind of replace products in the home or using toxic things in foods, all that sort of stuff. And really how we got started, we started Healthful Connection about this time last year because of, I guess, what's happening in the world. We've been in this space together for many years and we believe in it. And we feel like, I don't know if the if the information is hard to get or people need guidance, but we just jumped into this and thought we want to help people get healthier, live happier and healthier. So we kicked off this business called Healthful Connection, and our intention really is about social connections and bringing community together and helping each other achieve health goals. And really today, this is part of it, bringing people together to have a chat and share what I know, and hopefully I can help someone today. So what is health? The World Health Organization defined health as a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being, and not merely the absence of disease or infirmity. So that was a statement made in 1948, and to this day, it still remains like that's still the definition of what health is, and that really encompasses holistic health. There's two key messages that I'd like everyone to take from this. One is, think of health as the whole person. Like, you can't exercise your way out of a bad diet, or you can't go and have the night of your life or have a good day at work and come home and have fight with your family and just be in a state of anger or whatever. That it just doesn't work. You've got to find balance, and you've got to look at this holistically. Your relationships, your physical activity, your education, your finances, everything plays a part in this holistic approach. And the other key point that I'd like you to take is, and I'm strong on this, is having a proactive mindset. So, in that statement, it says not merely the absence of disease. So people think like, just because I don't have a disease or a sickness or a cough or a flu or whatever, I'm healthy. That's not the case. You really need to think of it. You need to take steps every day and be proactive, and there'll be stuff that I'll mention as I go along, by eating right, looking after your body, having a good, clear mindset. All these things are extremely important to stay healthy and invest in yourself for the future. Now, one of my favorite doctors as well posted this on Instagram the other day, is that health is not valued until sickness comes. And it's such a powerful quote that it really encompasses what I'm trying to say, is that, we need to take proactive steps every day to remove or reduce our risk of disease or anything that comes along. So there's a lot of info in this one here, but I will try to break it down to my best of my ability. So I want to give you a glimpse into the future. So the state of health of the world in general is not good. And, over the past 20, 30 years, it's just getting worse. So chronic diseases, also known as non-communicable diseases, they're like long lasting. So something that you've got wrong with you for 3 months or more, they're non-transferable. So it's not like the common cold, or you've got a stomach bug or something like that. These are diseases that, mentions there, like your heart disease, your cancers, respiratory problems, stroke, Alzheimer's, diabetes is prevalent in our community. All of these are diseases these are the top diseases in the world, and the statistics are very similar in Australia and all other countries. So in the world, this was from 2018, 41 million people died of chronic disease. That's 70%, 71% of the total deaths in the world. Now, the World Health Organization has said that from all of these diseases that I've just mentioned, there was 4 shared risk factors. So these are things that increase your risk of getting these diseases, and they were diet, tobacco, physical inactivity, and alcohol. So excessive use of alcohol. So these four risk factors, they're saying that are what's significantly contributing to all of these. So what does that tell you? That tells you that through our choices that we're making, we can be increasing our risk to getting one of these diseases. Now, there are other factors like genetics and that sort of stuff, but these are far smaller than these, than these 4 that I just mentioned. And in Australia, currently 50% of adults have a chronic disease, 1 or more chronic diseases. It's more like 75% in older adults. And the statistics are saying that the skyrocketing rates of chronic disease are going to continue to increase. Not only that, but people will live with 2 or more, 3 or more, 4 or more chronic diseases. So these are diseases where they'll give you illness, they cause disability or loss of function of your body and stuff like that. So we're actually living longer, but our quality of life is shortening, so the quality of life is reducing, which is the sad thing. So we're relying on medicine more, drugs, can't do things, need to be cared for, all that sort of stuff. Yeah, there's a lot of info in that one, but yeah, as I said, it's this is just a glimpse of into the future. So what makes us unhealthy today? Really, we're a ball of stress. Now we're busier than ever. We've got family, school, work, sport, gym, homework, friends, cooking, TV, social media, negative news, money. We've got so many issues that we're always on the go. Usually what that means is we put our health aside. It usually means, I'll go for a run later, or I've got to finish this, and I'll go to bed later, that sort of thing. That's really what happens. People want to make more of the day, and that's what happens. But I've picked out, this is some areas that I've picked out that's a bit more targeted to, I guess, high school students. And, poor nutrition is obviously a contributor to making you feel like sluggish and, not being able to focus and that sort of stuff. We're opting for fast food, junk food, snacks. We snack more frequently, particularly at home now. Don't drink enough water. These bad habits, they cause us to have like low energy. As I said before, feel sluggish, focusing, you always feel sick, or you're always getting sick. And, when you're not eating good food, you crave more of it later. So nutrition is one thing that leads to kind of this feeling of stress and anxiety. Lack of physical activity. As I said, sometimes we push our health aside because we're just too busy. And I'll do it later. But we all know, lack of movement can lead to weight gain. Eating too much and then you're not working out can lead to weight gain. It can lead to like just loss of general fitness, muscle soreness, the longer you don't do it. But it also reduces the opportunity to, after a workout, that feel good feeling, that's called serotonin. That's a hormone that, when you eat something or when you go for a run and afterwards you feel great, you send messages to your brain thinking, oh, this is fantastic. So when you don't work out or when you don't go for a walk, or you lose that opportunity to feel good and feel happy. Lack of sleep is a massive one as well. Again, there's not enough time in the day. So, it might be homework, or you just couldn't get something done during the day. So I'll just do it later. So we're staying up till, 11, 12, 1 a.m. and getting up early to do things again. Sleep is super, super critical. It's our time to rest, repair, rejuvenate, or refix all of our cells in our body. Very important that we get sleep. Another thing that I think may contribute to kind of the stress and anxiety is maybe like a lack of goals or a sense of purpose. Sometimes, you can procrastinate, or you might be, kind of in a state of you're not sure where you're going, what you're doing. Goals really, they're like when you achieve something, it's like a reward system. Again, it's a bit like the good signals in your brain. So when you achieve something, you feel great, you feel amazing. And without when you have a lack of direction, or you don't know where you're going or how things are going to pan out, you do feel stressed and anxious, and you might feel stuck in life. Generally, when you're in that state, you'll tend to lean towards an unhealthy habits just to find that reward system. So it's kind of a behavioral issue. And then isolation is prevalent now. It's something that we've been locked in our homes, and we've been doing remote schooling and disconnected from, and isolated from the world, away from people that we care about. It's making us feel sad, lonely, depressed. As human beings, we thrive on connection. Like, I love hugging people and having a good time with people, and that's been taken away from me. So that's something I've had to deal with and find other ways to, get around that. So it's super important. Yeah, okay. Cool. So importance of nutrition, very, very important, and one piece in the puzzle. So some of you might not know who Hippocrates is. He is known as the godfather of medicine. When doctors become doctors today, they take what's known as a Hippocratic oath, and you may have heard of do no harm. Well, that comes from him. He's a doctor that back in BC times, he put together a kind of an oath to say that, literally translated, says, I will apply diet and lifestyle measures to help the sick to the best of my judgment, and I will protect them from harm and injustice. That's been skewed a little bit these days, but you can see, over 2,000 years ago, they were focused on diet and lifestyle back then, and to this day, it's the same. It hasn't changed. It's super important. So food is our fuel. It's our source of energy for our bodies to function. When we eat, we break food down. We utilize the nutrients. We utilize vitamins, minerals, and through our blood, it travels all over our body to our cells, to the cells in our body to perform various functions. Just a fun fact, there's over 30 trillion cells in our body. 30 trillion cells. That's far more humans on the planet of this earth. And cells make up our body part, our body parts like skin, heart, brain, muscles. So, obviously all these different organs and parts of our body perform different functions. So food and nutrients, particularly good food, is important for their correct functioning. So the quality of the foods is super important. So think of food as information for your body. It's not just to fill up. You're putting food into your body and your body is translating that into something. When we're eating, think of eating as either feeding disease or fighting disease. So that fighting part is, that proactive mindset where you're putting good nutrition in your body and you're helping your immune system and you're, killing off bacteria and viruses and all that sort of stuff. That's what food's doing to you every time you eat. There's actually an emerging field called epigenetics that I'm super interested in. I know a little bit about it, but I like to read up on it. And it's what they're looking at is, scientists are looking at is how foods turn on certain genes, turn them on and off. So genes, like we've got genes, we're born with genes. So your eye color, your hair color, these things you can't change, but there's genes that perform functions in our body, and they've realized that food can either reduce or inhibit disease. Super interesting area of epigenetics is called, if you're interested. Junk food, so industrial food, processed food, junk foods, which I'm going to give some examples a bit later. They taste good, they're high in calories, they make you feel full, but they're very low in nutrition. They're usually, full of fat, sugar, salt, and many chemicals that are toxic to the body. And what happens is when you eat these types of foods, I'm sorry if you love your McDonald's and these sorts of foods, but when you eat these processed foods, what happens is you feel full. It gives you that nice feeling. That's intentional. That's by design. It gives you that, oh, this tastes amazing. But within an hour or two, your body's saying to you, hey, I'm hungry again. It's because it hasn't quite got what it needs in terms of nutrition. And it's asking you to, can I eat again? So generally you'll snack and you'll eat again. Chemicals that are in foods are, there are some that are super toxic. There are some that are deemed safe, but I'm going to touch on why we should avoid them. Again, they do nothing for our bodies in terms of health, and our bodies need to work harder to get rid of them. So again, this is a lot of information, but I'm hoping you're either taking notes or you can ask questions at the end. Yeah. All right, good versus bad food. What is good food and what is bad food? So at a very high level, everything that you can see above your screen is good. Everything you see down is bad. So good food is whole foods, food that you can, when you look at like an apple, you can tell what it is. You're eating an apple, orange, broccoli, carrot, a piece of meat. If you can see what it is, you can eat that. Good food is natural, so it comes straight from the source, like it's picked from a tree or a plant. Good foods are also like things that have fewer ingredients in them. So I'm going to show you an example after this, but and you'll understand what I mean. But things that don't have too many ingredients in them. Foods that are unprocessed or minimally processed. So you may have heard these terms before, but unprocessed foods are like just natural edible foods, or from plants or animals. Minimally processed foods are like they've been slightly altered, but it could be just for like preservation, like freezing, heating, that sort of stuff, grinding, filtering, that sort of stuff. That's deemed like minimally processed, but it's still you're still getting something good. Fresh fruits, vegetables, whole grains, nuts, seeds, meat. These are all types of good foods in these categories. Bad foods are packaged foods. So most packaged foods, I should say. So things like ready-to-eat meals, some frozen meals, pre-mixed foods that are on shelves, anything boxed, sealed in plastic, we really need to be careful. Unnatural things, so things that don't resemble what they are. You might see, I don't know, a banana muffin, and there's 1% banana in it or something. So these are things that are unnatural, that are just formulated together. Or another term that you may have heard is GMO foods, so genetically modified foods. These are foods that are made in a lab, basically. So they might get a grain or something and they'll genetically modify it. It's DNA, basically, for it to grow quicker or yield faster, or whatever it might be. Some people call these frankenfoods. I saw an article recently that looked at GMO salmon. So what they did was they put a live organism in salmon, and they farmed these salmon to grow faster and larger. So you can imagine for the food companies and industry, that's great, because they can pump out, food and stock and all that sort of stuff. But for us, that's a scary area. and toxic ingredients like as I said, chemicals, artificial colors and flavors and sweeteners and food dyes. These foods are packed with all of these stuff, and they're not. They're there really to like make foods look better. They're there to taste better, and they're there to last longer on the shelf. They're not there to do anything for your body or for your health. I would say that, and sugar is obviously, a lot of these bad foods are packed with sugar, added sugar in particular. So 80% of supermarket foods, 80%, 80, have added sugar. So, artificial sugars, sweeteners, they're terrible for our body. And most know that, constant consumption of sugar, particularly artificial sugars, will gradually lead to obesity, putting on weight, and all of those conditions that I spoke about before. All right, little game. Ideally, if we were in a classroom, I'd love to ask questions as I go, but these are mini cupcakes. These are from Aldi. I love Aldi, by the way. I shop there a lot for various reasons. But these got free flavors in there: vanilla, chocolate, strawberry. I don't know what they are, but yeah. If you look on the right-hand side, there's 32 ingredients listed. 32 ingredients. I don't know most of them myself, and I've researched a lot of it. These foods, as I said before, they're very low in nutrition, but they're highly processed. So they're non-natural, even though you might see like natural flavors in the ingredients. I'll show you an example of what that means. But the fact that it has 32 different ingredients kind of raises a red flag to saying, hey, what's going on? Why is there a need to be so many ingredients in a food? And the reason is, as I said, look how good they look. Yeah, they look tempting. Well, not for me, they don't look tempting, but anyone walking by, they look delicious. They taste amazing, I'm sure. You know, when you eat one, you might want to eat a second one. And obviously, the main reason why there's so many ingredients is to increase shelf life. You know, they'll chuck them on the shelf, and if they don't sell, they might last a few weeks, a month before someone picks it up. But these things are designed to give you the same, by design, they're there to give you that same feeling of, after a run or after you do something good and you get rewarded and you get those good feelings going in your body. This does the same thing. You eat it and you go, this is delicious. Sends messages to your brain and go, I'll remember that for next time. So when you walk past the next time, you go, I'll just grab them. I remember that. That tastes delicious. So there is a game in this industry, and at the end of the day, they want, the food industry want to sell products. They're the ingredients. I don't know if you can see that. That's probably better now, but there's all the ingredients. A lot of numbers usually means chemicals. There's preservatives. There's acidity regulators. There's glazing agent. There's natural colors. I'm going to explain that in a minute. Natural colors can come from foods natural foods that give the product a color, but it also could be from food dyes and chemicals that are made in the lab, really. So this is another one that's packed with salt and that sort of stuff. So I guess the message here is just, this might be a new thing for you, but start to learn about reading labels. Look at the label and try to understand what it means and go and research it. Go jump on Google and type in an ingredient and go, oh, what is this that I'm eating and why is it used? Some, as I said, might be safe, but most, I would say, are either made in a lab and do nothing for our health. If anything, make us feel worse and lead to disease. But yeah, really understand what you're putting in your body. Very, very important. So this is another product at Aldi. I'm just going to show you about, this is one simple example of making, proper choices. These are, I guess, like muesli bars, or I don't know what you want to call them, snack bars or whatever it might be. The one on the left, bubble bars, is like colorful, and it even says no artificial colors or flavors on the front. So how good is that? You think, okay, this is healthy. This might be healthier than something else, but this has 50 plus ingredients. So 50. Why is there 50 ingredients in a snack bar? That's you got to ask yourself that. Not only is there 50 ingredients, if you go through that list, the second ingredient on the list is sugar. These are, when you read ingredients on packaging, it's always in order of volume. So whatever's most in there. The fact that sugar is the second ingredient is another red flag. But you go through there, malt barley extract is sugar, glucose syrup is sugar. You read further along, there's sugar, there's glucose sugar, there's dextrose, that's sugar as well. Golden syrup is sugar. Like it's just jam-packed of sugar. This is probably 60 or 70% sugar. So when you're eating this, you're not realizing what it's doing to your body. So just to give you an example, if you look at the second sentence, this is natural colors, it says 171. So that's the definition of what that is. That 171 is something called titanium dioxide. It's actually a naturally occurring chemical that comes from rocks. So they get this, they use this titanium dioxide in food to give it a white color, to change the color of it. So they're right in the sense that it's a natural chemical, natural ingredient. But if you read this is from Wikipedia, but if you read it, it's used in paint and sunscreen as well as like toothpaste. That's like, okay, like it makes me think like, okay, maybe it might be safe for me, but if they're using it in these other products that are, paint and sun and those sorts of things, what's going on here? So don't always be deceived by natural colors and flavors. I'll just, sorry, one sec. Okay, cool. So if you look at the product on the right, that's a paleo bar from Aldi. Have a look at the ingredients. There's 5 ingredients in there. 5 ingredients. It's still a natural, dates are a natural sugar source. So you'll still get that same feeling of this tastes good, feels good, but it's natural. It's got 57% dates in it. There's no artificial colors, there's no artificial flavors, there's no preservatives. And one good thing it has fiber, and fiber is good for our digestive system. It helps us detox and break down foods and, really cleanse our system. But, these are, yes, the product on the right is a little bit more expensive. You're getting 5 in the packet versus 12. But from a health perspective, that is a fantastic switch that you can make for your health. Far better choice. Oops. Yeah, cool. So look for these things in supermarkets. Influence your parents if you have to, when you go shopping with them, if you go shopping with them, to pick just healthier, look at labels and just pick, try to look for alternatives when you're there, rather than eating white bread, eat bread that use whole grains, not, white processed grains and that sort of stuff. So I just also want to give maybe just 3 tips on how to reclaim your health. So first thing is, eat good, nutritious food. We can all eat food, but nutritious food is a different ballgame. Try to stick to whole foods, basically anything in this picture, fruits, vegetables, quality protein like lean meat, not your salamis and those sorts of things that are highly processed with plenty of preservatives and that sort of stuff, unless it's made at home. Plenty of, as I said, nuts and seeds, water, even natural juices. 100% juices are good, or even better, make your juices at home. When you buy juices, often a lot of them have added sugar in there as well, so it's things to avoid. Less packaged foods, as I said, less processed meats like salami, less soft drinks. Soft drinks are high in sugar. They rush to your brain. Go look up how many teaspoons of sugar are there in Coke, and then look up, research what it does to your body within the first 20 minutes, 40 minutes. It's horrible. There's no perfect diet. So there's no diet I can say go on a vegetarian diet or a meat-based diet. There's no magic pill. There's no diet. My advice is to find what works for you. Some people like to be vegan. Some people like to eat a lot of meat. Some people like to eat vegetarian. I'm somewhere in between. I might have meat once or twice a week, but I eat mostly vegetables or vegetable-based, vegetarian-based food. And making these shifts will start making help you feel better. Clear your mind more. Things like sore stomachs and nausea, and some ingredients in foods can make you feel sick, and you might not know where it's coming from. You may have got you think you're getting a bug, but often it's coming from foods. My next tip for you guys in particular is just keep yourself moving every single day. Now, it doesn't mean go for a 10-kilometer run every day. It just means, go daily, go for a walk, go running every few days, once a week. Try to do 1 or 2 high intense workouts. It's super healthy for you. Sweating where you sweat. Gardening is an example of getting outdoors, doing things outdoors. Just go outside, sport, basketball, football, soccer, whatever it might be. Do some stretches, get your body moving. Super important. As you get older, particularly, I guess, to my age, like things get a little bit, takes a bit longer to get used to stuff. So the earlier you can adopt these things, the better. And obviously get off your couch. Stop lying in bed all day, binge watching TV, particularly with the negative news that's going on at the moment. Just distance yourself away with that. Computer, device time, just far less of this sort of stuff and more movement and, getting that body ticking over and feeling good. And the last one, I guess, is just to manage your stress and anxiety levels. Firstly, you need to be conscious of it. Even myself, I'll go through ups and downs during a week. And the important thing is to be, to be conscious of your feelings and, if you're stressed, doing things to get you out of that state, or if you feel anxious, doing things to get out of your state. And some of those things are, first and foremost, sleep. Sleep is the time that we rest, all of our cells, those 30 trillion cells in our body, it's their time to repair, rejuvenate, refresh, and you wake up in the morning feeling, ready to go again. Do some meditation or breath work, jump on YouTube. There's heaps of these around. We did one at the start that you can maybe build on, or even just sitting there and doing simple breathing, just listening to meditation music and simple breathing just for 10 minutes, something like that in the morning. Daily affirmations is something that my wife is big on. It helps with mindset. So there's some examples there, just about telling yourself that, I'm confident, I'm limitless, I can do anything, putting yourself in a really positive mindset. I'm going to get the most out of today. I'm going to get out of my comfort zone. I'm going to challenge myself. It's going to make me feel uncomfortable, but you're going to learn new things and you're going to grow. So they're super, super important. Yeah. And this is much like the other one, stop sitting around, don't look at your device when you first wake up in the morning. Do something that's more proactive or more productive for your health. So this is my second last slide. So rather than just kind of giving you information, I actually want to challenge you guys. Again, it doesn't matter, teenage, adult, doesn't matter what you are. Come up with your own goal, or there's some examples here. So, for the next 7 days, pick one of these. So try to eat just fresh foods or whole foods and just avoid junk foods just for 7 days. Or wake up every morning. First thing you do is a 10-minute meditation. Read daily affirmations to yourself, write a list and then read them to yourself, and then, just manifest that. Go to bed early. Don't go to bed 11, 12 o'clock. Go to bed earlier and really get a good 7-9 hours sleep every day. Increase your water intake. Stop drinking soft drinks. Go for a walk, jog, move, do something every day. So I don't know if you may have heard of a SMART goal. So a SMART goal is basically creating a goal that's specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and tangible. So I got a sentence there, for example, but you can edit this yourself. I want you to write it down. I want you to either print it out, put it somewhere that you can see every day. And one thing is, I will do meditation for 10 minutes every morning for the next 7 days. So that'll make me feel calm, clear, and focused for my day. So something simple. You've put your intention out there. You've told yourself what it is. It's going to be meditation. You're going to do it for 10 minutes for 7 days. So it's measurable. At the end of the week, you can say, oh, actually, I did 6 days. I didn't quite meet my goals, but at least I got a long way there. And then the biggest thing for me as well with this challenge is, after the 7 days, go and tell someone how it made you feel. So how did that experience make you feel? Initially, when I started writing this up, I was going to ask to actually do all of these for the whole week. But one of my biggest mottos is small steps, and big wins. So doing one of these for the next 7 days is going to be one win for you, that you've achieved something. And I'm hoping that, it's a catalyst for you to start doing other things. And it can be as simple as you want. It doesn't have to be, as I said, going for a run every day for, 4, 5, 6 kilometers, just getting outdoors, jumping on a bike, go around your neighborhood. If you've got friends close by, hang out with them, ring a friend. These sorts of things can help you really, get into a really positive mindset. Thank you very, very much for your time, everyone that's on the call, George and Josip. I really appreciate the opportunity to share this information. These are some things that, this is just information at the end of the day. And, I really encourage you all to own your health, own your health from now. Be proactive about your health and make good choices. Learn about your health. I'm still learning. Learn about your health so that, it doesn't matter what age you are. It's never too late to start. And, as I said, I'm a massive believer in all of this stuff. And I have no doubt that if you guys gave it a chance, that it can be life-changing for you all.
Thank you very much, Mus. That was a brilliant presentation. Some unbelievable points there that I took as notes as well for myself, and I'm hoping that the kids took it on board. Would anybody like to come off mute and ask a question while we have Mutz on the line before we wrap up? Because I think there's obviously some really good slides that he can add some more value to if you ask the right question. So kids, parents, anybody?
Even after this, Josip, like I've chucked my email address up there. Like anyone, feel free to email me and ask questions, and I'm happy to give guidance. I'm passionate about helping people. So even if now they're not quite sure, we're only skimming the surface of all of this stuff. But yeah, happy to take questions if people have them.
Yeah.
Hi, Mustafa.
Yes.
It's Aiden. That yes, it's Dev. Sorry. Quick one. Like, how's it going on, Jack? Good. Now my question is, like, is it better to have, like, to break the food, like, into, like, like a food intake more like as breakfast, lunch, and dinner, or have it like, multiple number of time, like, but smaller amount?
Yep. Excellent question. Excellent question. There is no magic formula. My advice is to find what works for you. So if you're finding yourself, you're eating big meals all the time, maybe you can reduce it and snack, for example. I've trained myself. I don't eat big meals, but I do snack in between. Yeah, that's really the key point. We've been trained. We've been trained that there's a breakfast, lunch, and dinner that you got to eat, but there's no rule of thumb. I know many health advocates that will only eat 2 days a week. I know many health advocates that will fast for 16 hours a day and only eat for 8 hours a day. So they don't necessarily follow a strict regime. But yeah, the key is obviously, finding something that suits you and going from there. Yeah.
What about for growing kids? So, like, because, like, they are the age of, like, they're taking growth. So how do we manage that? Like, what would be better?
Sorry, I missed the start of your question.
Like, growing kids.
Growing
because, like,
kids.
they're still at the growth time, like, so.
Yeah. Yep. So naturally, growing kids, and I did this too when I was growing up. Their metabolisms and their appetites are growing, and they're eating more and they're snacking more. I've got 2 kids, an 8-year-old, 2.5-year-old, and I can see that daily. First and foremost, I would have a bowl of fruit out so that they can grab that rather than going to the cupboard and picking out foods that are not so healthy to them. Not buying junk food is one thing that we do at home. We don't bring that stuff in, like your chips and your chocolates and that sort of stuff. We don't bring that in. For the fact that it's tempting if you leave it there. You've had dinner and it's an hour later and I just might eat this. But the key thing for this is, like, I'm not advocating to drop everything. Like, that's not actually good. I would recommend calling a technique called crowding out. So get your kids to fill their tummies or their real estate with good foods, and they'll tend to not eat the full packet of chips or the whole chocolate. They might snack on it, but they won't eat the whole thing. So it's a process, a tool that it's called crowding out, and you're just taking up real estate with better foods than snacking. Does that answer your question?
Yep. Thank you. Thanks, Mustafa.
You're welcome.
Yeah, brilliant one. Little tip as a parent of 3 daughters as well. We don't have soft drink in the house. We buy it only for parties, but we've got a lemon tree and we like to buy fruit and literally just squeeze the juice into and actually our kids don't know the taste of soft drink. So sometimes at a party when they have some, you actually see them buzzing around. They don't actually like it, which is great. So it's just something that we've conditioned in, but they don't know the difference. A bit of lemon juice in your drink, it's got flavor, it takes away the boredom of water, and it gives you a bit of vitamin C as well. So it's like hidden learning for us teachers. I do it at home with my kids.
That's brilliant, Josip. Absolutely brilliant. And we're the same. My kids, my eldest is 8, and he's tasted soft drink, but just doesn't like it. He doesn't have it. So we're the same, mate. Yeah.
No, awesome. Any other questions while we're here?
Yeah, I'm going to bring something up, and probably going to direct it back to, I can see a lot of students that are online, a lot of students that have been doing the yoga and the Pilates that we've been running pretty much since we've been in lockdown. Musi touched on the comment that you said, a beautiful day begins with a beautiful mindset. Now, I know personally my age, and you know me quite well, and I've had a lot of problems with my body, okay, and I really wasn't an advocate. I wasn't an advocate. Really didn't see the benefit of doing something getting up in the morning and doing something for even for 20 minutes or 10 minutes, okay, that could really help me with the problems that I have with my body. But ever since we started doing this Pilates and yoga, myself and Joe, and there's probably about 20 odd kids, 15 odd kids, 20 odd kids, day in, day out. It's been going on for 7 years. I've found a big change in the way I feel in the morning, okay, not only physically but mentally. And I just wanted to throw it to someone like, I could see Robbie, I'm going to put you on the spot, Robbie, okay, because I know you've been on these yoga sessions, you've been doing them religiously, not only this year, even last year when we started this during lockdown, or Aiden Casa, or anybody, Theo Matario, I know he's on, he's been doing that. Dante, how do you guys feel? How do you feel when you actually, now that you've gotten into a routine where you've been doing this for the last 7 or 8 weeks? Someone just want to share that experience with us?
You feel like you can feel the improvement in yourself, and you feel more flexible, and it's like something makes you feel good in the morning.
Does that help you during the day, Robbie, in terms of you're able to concentrate more and see, especially when you're in front of a screen, and we've been in lockdown again now for the last 7 weeks, 6 weeks for school. How do you find does that help you with your concentration levels and just getting through the school day and being able to do what the teachers are asking you to do?
You can concentrate for longer and get more productive, and you get better work done.
Yep.
Absolutely. If I can chime in, 2 points I want to raise there, George. One is, particularly for yourself, for example, solutions aren't coming. Like, you need to own your health. Like, someone's not going to come, the industry's not going to come and go, hey, take this pill and you're going to be fixed for life. It doesn't work like that. You need to own your health, and you need to take proactive steps. And that what you're doing is that you might have sores and aches and problems and diseases, and you might go doctor to doctor, but if you don't own it and you're going to rely on other people to give you advice on what to do, it's not going to work. No one's going to come to save you. Even your parents, they'll put food on the table and do that sort of stuff. But doesn't matter what age you are, you're going to start learning to own your health and get in the right mindset to invest in your future. Basically, if you don't, you're going to go down that same road of this 50% of chronic disease, and that it's guaranteed. It's the stats, it's guaranteed. So, and the other point, I think it was Robbie that just spoke about is, and one thing that I'm massive on is the social connections, but sharing your knowledge. So tell people that, I did this in the morning, it made me feel amazing. Like, I just got up and I did this, and things started working for me in the day. I believe in putting that positivity out there, and you get in that mindset and you do your yoga in the morning and you feel refreshed, and then you go have breakfast and start your day. You're in a great frame of mind. So tell someone how you feel and try to influence people around you, mum, dad, your sister, your brother, friends. Influence them to be healthy as well. This is where this community level is where it's going to work. It's not going to, no disrespect to doctors, but you go to a doctor and he might write a prescription and you go and take this, and then we'll see how it goes, and then you might not see him for a few months. But you ask people around you, I've had this problem. I had pimples after I ate almonds or something like that. Oh, maybe that's why I'm getting pimples. Like, you start asking these questions, you'll find out people around you have had similar issues or similar health problems, and you can help each other. So sharing is huge, and that's something that I'm going to be focused on with my wife in this new adventure.
Yeah, brilliant. And I think it links into what you said about, and I like the affirmations. One of the ones on your page was the secret of success is found in your daily routine. And by us doing the yoga and the Pilates with the kids, and I'm not going to keep harping on about yoga and Pilates because that's just one thing you could do in the morning. But the reality is that what you're saying about looking for the quick fix, that's a societal problem. That's what everybody is looking for. And I'm going to be blunt, kids that go and play at clubs and they think the coach is going to make them the better player, or the MPL system or the community system or private coach. the reality is you can throw money at anything, but if you don't take ownership of your own learning and your situation, like you've got free yoga, free Pilates, nutritional information. We've shown them how to cook food that doesn't involve sugar, 3 different types of meals they can have throughout the day. Resources galore, more resources than they probably ever need, but it's all there. And the reality is who's going to take it up? We've also even told kids from time to time, can you recruit? So can you actually tell a friend to come to the next yoga session? And lo and behold, the next day you might get 2 or 3 more, but then they regress. And the trick to it, and here's the secret, all you people that have been doing yoga, because we do it at 8:30, it means you have to go to bed a little bit earlier, and hopefully you get a better quality sleep, and you know you're getting up because you're committed to it. So I'm kind of, and Katarina and I, we're kind of tricking you into going to bed early and using yoga. I've given you one of our soccer secrets. But it's all because of that. And that point you made there about the secret of success is found in your daily routine. And there is no quick fix, and there is no quick shortcut to becoming an elite footballer, which is what a lot of the kids in the program would like to be.
Yeah. I initially I was going to tailor this towards like nutrition for sports. So it's super important for like recovery. And if you're going to eat fast foods and chips and chocolates and that sort of stuff, you're not giving the nutrition to your body to recover. So after a session, after a jog, after whatever it might be, you're not giving yourself the proper food to recover. So you're in this state of you're eating and you're smashing down food and you're not quite getting that nutrition. It's super important before and after a meal, that the nutrition that you put in your body. And it doesn't have to be complicated. You don't have to go eat massive carbs and pasta and all that stuff. It's just eating good quality food is going to give you nutrition. You don't need to think about too much about what vitamins and what minerals and what fat and protein and carbs are in that. You don't need to go to that level. If you just stick to some basic principles, food that you can tell what it is for starters, is going to help you with the recovery. And again, you just touched on it about the mental side of it, like the focus on the field and the mental clarity and all that sort of stuff, all super important.
Any other questions? I've got one more that's not related to anything we've spoken about. How much of a con is the star rating on food products? So we saw the rice snack 2.5 stars. You think to yourself, that's not bad. That's half, because it's a 5-star rating. And then 4.5 for the paleo bars. From your experience and for what you've researched, how much of a con is it? It's really marketing, isn't it?
Excellent question, Joseph. It's somewhere in between. All right. I think it's for people particularly starting out, it is maybe a good measure to use. But Milo's got 5 stars, like 4.5 stars. And you know what Milo is? Yeah, it's packed full of sugar. So one of the biggest issues with like dietary recommendations and these food labels is that if you're healthy in the first place, like, if you're, I guess, eat good in the first place and you eat this, it's okay. It's not going to be, even if it's got a low star rating, it's okay. But if you're a bit overweight, a bit obese, trying to lose weight, eating these foods, even though they say they're 4-star, they're packed with sugar, or they're packed with foods that turn to sugar, and you don't see that's where it starts to become dangerous. So the dietary recommendations would be not ideal, but it's focused on generally people that are healthy. If you've got problems in the first place, it's not going to work for you. These food labels won't work for you. So like that Aldi one I showed you, it's got 5 ingredients. You can't go wrong. It doesn't have chemicals, doesn't have preservatives, doesn't have stuff that, you put these ingredients in your body has to get rid of them. They do nothing for your body. They don't fix your cells. They don't, if anything, they disrupt your gut. That's an area that I'm specializing in, gut health. That's massive. I would love to come back and talk about that one day, but yeah, your body has to get rid of that stuff. So it needs to get rid of it. And a buildup of eating these foods is just going to build up in your body, and you've got to get rid of it somehow. So it makes you feel worse and lethargic and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah. Good stuff.
It is a marketing thing, but if you start to learn how to read labels and research in that, then you know how to pick that.
Yeah, and sometimes the label will be, or the star rating will be for the entire product, not for how much you should eat of it. So like you said,
Correct.
with the Milo, 1 spoon of Milo probably not going to cause you too many problems. 4 heap teaspoons, then your star rating drops down quickly.
Correct. Yeah. A lot of products like Milo, they call them fortified. So what it means is, and this happens a lot in bread. So what they do is when they get grains, they put them through the milling process. What's left over, they strip away all of the good nutrients of the grain, and what's left over is like high carb, starchy kind of food. All right. And what they do is when they get that, they add vitamins and minerals later to it, and then they deem it like healthy. So that's another kind of game that they play. They fortify, they add these ingredients to go healthy. Like, this is a lot of info and might be confusing to people, but if you, in the back of your mind, if you think that the food industry is out to make you healthier, it's not going to get you far. You know what I mean? They're out to sell products, and I'm not saying they're intentionally trying to make us unhealthy or hurt us, but at the end of the day, it's dollars for them. It's not about health yet.
Yeah, great point. Any other questions from our audience? It'll be quiet. We've covered it all.
Yep.
Yeah. So I guess the important thing is that Mustafa's kindly given us access to him. So we will post the email address with the attachment of the video for tonight, of tonight's video call, so that you can contact him for any further information, and also get some more information if you're interested in the gut balance stuff, because there's some huge research in that and how it directly affects the brain and concentration. There's some brilliant stuff in there, and I'm sure, and you're probably finding things that are fascinating you as an athlete, but also as a parent, that you're thinking to yourself, how am I going to maximize my kids' learning? Do you want to give us a quick taster of what I mean, a very short version of what the gut can do for the brain and the body?
Oh my God! In a very short way, think of your gut as it's the only connection in your body to the outside world. So food, air that you breathe, food that you put into your body, water that you drink, everything basically goes through your digestive system. And all disease, and this is a quote from Hippocrates, all disease is said to be starting in the gut. So if your gut is not, if you're not healthy, you're not putting good foods in there, your body won't be able to break food down. It'll let pathogens and bacteria and stuff into your body, whereas that's your gut is 80% of your immune system. So it only makes sense to look after as best as you can. I've been doing it for a little while, but I'm starting to get into the for a long time, I should say. But yeah, I wanted to specialize in the area because it's so important. It is your immune system. There's a term called leaky gut, which is we've got a lining, around any nutrients that pass through this lining into our blood and into our body. If that's disrupted or broken, or it lets bad stuff through, and that's why you get sick and healthy. So the stronger you can keep your gut intact, your digestive system intact, the quality foods, fiber, you let things out of your system, your regular, all that sort of stuff. Your gut is central to all of this. And as you touched on before, the gut is considered as your second brain. So it's just a mechanism to the rest of your body. It talks to your brain. If you don't feel good in the gut, you don't feel good in the brain. It's all connected, man. That's what it is at the end of the day.
There's so much to learn on it, but I really look forward to it. I'd love to do another one with you when you've got more research and practice into that one.
Oh yeah.
Dion wants to come off mute and ask a question. So Dion, all yours, mate.
Yep. I was going to ask, what do you think would be your ideal pre-game meal? So also from the night before as well.
Yeah.
So the night before and also like breakfast.
Awesome. Thanks, Dion. Thanks for that question. Great question. When I was young, I was big on like eating like carby meals, like your pastas and your rice and all that sort of stuff. Growing up, when I didn't have kids, I had a regular routine. 9 a.m. I'd wake up before 9 a.m. So I'd have breakfast at 9 a.m. I'd have a lunch at 12, and then I'd kick off at 3. So I always gave that 3-hour gap is important for your body to, grab those energy sources and utilize them for the time being. But without getting too into it, like pasta, white pasta, at this age would be fine. You'd burn it off. As you get older, it starts to get a little bit trickier. So I eat more like spelt pasta or buckwheat pasta, or there's different types of pastas or carbs, I should say, grains that have a better nutritional profile, firstly, and secondly, they're not so when you eat white pasta, your body digests it easy because it's easy sugar. So you get a blood spike, you get that, you get that intense, energy lift, and then you go into the game type of thing. With the other kind of sauces, they're a bit more gradual. I feel at my age, it helps me kind of prolong the energy and prolong playing. But my breakfast are like, I eat granola and yogurt. We buy whole grain bread, spelt bread, spelt flour. It's a type of grain. And I put avocado, heaps of avocado and chia seeds on top. So avocado and chia seeds are healthy fats. That's an energy source for you as well. I love my coffee, and I have it with almond milk. I don't have it with normal milk, but I do have normal milk. There's not unless it, like, if you've got lactose intolerance or those sorts of things, you need to be wary of that. But don't go for low fat stuff. Go for full fat stuff, because usually the low fat stuff, they will replace it with like sugars and that sort of stuff. And lunch, yeah, it's, as I said, I'll eat maybe a different type of pasta. I will eat meat as well. I wouldn't be afraid of meat. But if you're eating generally right during the week, I actually don't think about it too much. You know what I mean? Like sometimes we make pumpkin pancakes. We have an early lunch at 11. We feed the kids, and I have that as my pre-game meal. I'll have a banana, a bit of carbs and energy in that as well. Just don't eat. Actually, I'll share. I know I'm rambling on a bit, but I'll share a quick story. I was playing probably when I was about 17. I didn't know any of this stuff. I remember literally eating a bag of snakes. The snakes. They're horrible for you. But I was desperate. I wanted to play, the game of my life. I think it was a semi-final or something. And I wanted to play the game of my life. So I did my routine even at a young age. But I smashed a bag of lollies, thinking, this is going to give me a boost of energy. When I got to the ground, my head was spinning. In the change room, the coach was looking at me, and I'm like, things are spinning around. I went out on the field, my head was spinning, didn't feel right. Thankfully, like I got through the game, but I wasn't feeling right. And that's an example of eating the wrong food can make you feel sick for the game. You know what I mean? It did the opposite effect of what I wanted it to do. But I was thinking, I'm getting a sugar hit. The sugar in that is artificial generally, and it's something called high fructose corn syrup. High fructose corn syrup is the leading cause of overweight, obesity. It's added to foods, and over the last 20 years, we've seen a massive obesity epidemic, and it's largely to do with this added high fructose corn syrup. So, sorry, Dion, I hope that's answered your question. But stick to whole foods. You can eat your breads and that sort of stuff. If you can eat whole grain bread, that sort of stuff, they're carbs. And research. Don't be afraid to research. Yeah.
So you would tend to have a more fibrous breakfast, right?
Fiber is important in your daily routine. It's a mechanism to help you cleanse the body and digest food. So eating fruit and vegetables will give you plenty of fiber you need. You don't need to take supplements. That's another topic we could talk about for a couple of hours, supplements and where we sit there. But just stick to like foods that down, and you'll get all your vitamins, your minerals, your fiber, all that sort of stuff that you need.
Okay. Thank you.
Great question, and very relevant. Obviously, now that the season's finished and you're starting to think about pre-season and preparation for the next year, things that you can start to change and implement. Adam's got a question. Adam, do you want to come off mute and ask your question?
Yeah, I've got a quick question. Is it good for our age to have protein shakes?
Protein shakes. Can I ask you a question? Do you take them now?
Occasionally, like in the morning to fill me up, or like sometimes before a game.
Yep. Do you do it as a meal replacement or just as a like a supplement?
Usually as a meal replacement.
Yeah, I don't have an issue with taking supplements. The issue I have is just as long as it's as natural as possible. So I have a protein mix that I take, but it's whey powder, brown rice, and peas. It's just mashed up. It's just that. So sometimes I'll take a supplement, a protein supplement for recovery. So, or you can do a pre-game as well to give you that energy and that the muscle stuff that you need. So I don't think that age is such a problem. It's more about just making sure that it's not synthetic. It's not like made in a lab and here's a protein mix with all of these whiz bang words on it and that sort of stuff. There's protein sources you can get from plants and meat and other stuff that will be ample for you.
And a lot cheaper.
And a lot cheaper.
Yeah, one of the common ones is normal milk. You can drink normal full-fat milk and it won't be too different to a Musashi drink. It'll cost you a lot less and it won't have sugar added to it. So
Yep.
Yeah.
Drinking coconut water as opposed to Powerades, that's just another thing. Powerade blue and red Powerades are like there's a food dye in it to make it blue. It's not like Mountain Rush or whatever it's called. Like there's a reason. Coconut water is just as good, replenishing and that sort of stuff. So there's little tips like that. Like I said, we're scratching the surface, and I hope I haven't overwhelmed people here. But it's just a bit of a kick to start to look into these things and invest in your future.
Brilliant. All right. Any last questions before we let Mus go and have his rest, because we don't want to interrupt people's sleep, and we have yoga in the morning, or Pilates actually tomorrow.
Pilates.
Nice.
No. All right, Kato, the outro is yours because you are the Godfather, and we let the Godfather say the final words.
I'm just going to throw one thing to Mus before we leave. Mus, I've had the pleasure of coaching you before, seeing you play, and I've had the pleasure of seeing you this year playing pretty much the season as far as we played it prior to COVID coming in.
Yeah.
My question is, and I see a lot of younger boys in our squad, okay, and I see yourself being obviously the elder statesman, okay. My question to you is, what's the best bit of information can you give these young boys boys and girls that are coming through? I want to get to that stage where they can have consistency in their football, okay, and trying to break into a senior squad and sustaining that consistency, because I see you and I see other players half your age, okay, and I still see a different level of consistency in the way you play and the way you present yourself on and off the field.
Yeah. Thanks, George. It's a great question. This stuff that I'm talking about, I practice what I preach, and I know it works. Yeah. So first and foremost, particularly at an older age, like I need to look after myself. I need to do that bit extra as well than maybe someone that's a bit younger to, get myself on the park and get my, play week to week and that sort of stuff. You do look after me at times and, at training. So that all plays a part in playing at this age. But for younger guys, like I've probably done 20 pre-seasons, George, and I have never gone into a pre-season underprepared. I've always done my own work going into pre-season. I'll come with some good, not just a base level of fitness, but a good level of fitness. This year or the year before when I joined in, my intention was to take it a week at a time because I hadn't played for 4 years. But I ended up doing every single session because of the level I was at. And, myself and our captain, Davey, with our kind of, like we were streets ahead in terms of fitness, when it came to pre-season. I had like some of the younger guys coming, first session, I pulled my quad, my calf hurts. You're there, you want to make the senior team and you're coming underprepared. One, you're going to break down. Two, you need to be there every single session to impress the coach, to get in the coach's face, to show yourself, to be ready for the practice games. You've got time to get ready for the practice games. But if you're going to come in underprepared, then it's not going to help your cause in breaking your team. You're already behind the 8 ball. There may be other younger guys that actually have done the work and they're going to be ahead of you. So, don't come to preseason underprepared. And the second point is that me particularly, maybe from the age of 30, I really took my health. I've always improved my health, but I took it to the next level. And if you're doing all that stuff off the field, year in, year out, doesn't matter what time of the year is, you're already in a good position. If you're eating right and you're doing this yoga stuff that you guys are doing, you're stretching, you're socializing, you're trying to be in a keep happy, you're spending time with your family, all that sort of stuff all helps in getting the best out of yourself, getting to your best state of health, and then getting on the park to perform your best. If you're going in underprepared, you're not going to perform your best. That's really my advice for the young guys. Probably one other thing is, you need to believe in yourself, and you need to be realistic as well, right? If you're 16 and you've never played senior football and you're expecting to play in the first team, it's not going to work. Say to yourself, I want to be in and amongst it. I want to learn from the guys around me. I want to see how they do it and then apply my trade and then learn that way. You might not do it this year, but you'll learn from this year and then build on that. And don't be in a rush the cream rise to the top, and it's those that, that takes this to the next level that really come through. So that's really my advice, George. I hope that's answered your question.
It has. And I'd say to any of our kids, if you ever get a chance, and I know, and he's not playing at an NPL level anymore, he's playing at a State 2 level. If you ever want to come down and just see what the preparation that he does on and off the field during the week at training and even on game day, you'd get a lot out of it. I've learned a lot just from him, not as a coach and trying to give him a role on game day or during the week when we're training, prepare himself for game day, but just seeing what he does on and off the field, on and off the field. Just the professionalism and the way he condones himself and the way he prepares himself and the way he speaks to others, he just has an amazing influence on the playing group. I'm not saying that because I'm coaching him. As an outsider looking in, if you get an opportunity, come down and see what he does, and you'll learn a lot from him.
It works too. It works both ways, George, mate. Much like yourself, very approachable. Your wisdom, your advice on the field. It's get feedback from people. Don't be afraid to be criticized. Don't be afraid to and you'll tell me straight out, George, I did this wrong. Should have done this. That's all positive feedback. And you're always learning. That's the key thing. And yeah, much like yourself, George, mate. You and Yosip, I know that quality coaches, modern coaches. These kids have a lot to learn from you guys. They're fortunate that you guys are looking at kind of a holistic approach. Like there's not many academies and stuff that go around that are doing this stuff. So credit to you guys as well.
Thank you. Very, very appreciated. I think that's a great way to end. Hopefully, if you got, I'm inspired by this, and I'm like Moose. I'm getting to the tail end of the football playing side of things. But I really would like to see you tomorrow continue that with some sort of a pledge for a 7-day affirmation, a SMART goal. You've done these with us before, yeah. You've set goals and targets. We've been doing it for many years because we know how important it is to when you tick that box and you say, I did it. There's no better affirmation for yourself, and there's no better energy boost. There's no Mother or B or Red Bull that can get anywhere near the energy boost of satisfaction when you achieve something. So if anything, yeah, take that as your advice and just small steps, as Mus said, small steps in the right direction. So thank you very much for giving us your time, and we look forward to follow up ones like this to continue educating ourselves and also the kids and the parents in our program.
My pleasure, Josip and George. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Mus. Really informative, and really appreciate your time tonight and giving up your time and sharing this with our students. I think I have, and I know Josip, and I'm sure our students have gotten a lot out of this presentation. Thank you very much.
I hope so. Thank you.
Mus.
No worries. Thanks everyone. Bye.